As my photography journey continues, I find myself venturing into new areas that I otherwise would not have experienced, and all for the better. So, let's see where today's journey takes me.
Well, hello. Let's see, it seems to be a pretty pleasant day today. Yeah, it's a Saturday. Probably it's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The temperature is pretty pleasant. It's around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually about 20 degrees cooler than it was last weekend. But anyway, it's still pretty pleasant here. Okay, I'm at one of my favorite spots to see if I can find another composition. Okay, there's a little stream coming through here, as you can probably see. And we're getting some pretty nice side lighting coming from the sun. And, well, the first order of business, like always, is let's try and find a composition. Alright, I've located a composition. There's a little, somewhat of a little island right here in the middle of the stream. And the rocks are actually forming a point, which is actually giving me a foreground interest. There are a few rocks here and there. There's a little brown leaf that's actually resting on the top of them. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as a foreground interest and shoot straight down. I'm going to take 3 exposures. I'm going to focus first for the leaf on these rocks. Then I'll focus about 1/3 of the way in, and then the last shot will be focused at infinity at the trees in the background. Okay, right now the camera settings are, let's see, 1/20th of a second at f-stop 13, ISO 100. Okay, so now I'm going to get ready and take the first shot, focusing on the rocks and the leaves in the foreground. I'll focus in at 100%, or zoom in rather, and focus. Alright. I like to use a mirror lockup, so I'll do that now, to eliminate as much camera shake as possible. So. All right, there's the first exposure. Now I'll focus about midway in. All right, this exposure number 2. Then the third exposure will be for the trees in the background. Okay. Later what I'll do is I'll take these 3 exposures and I'll actually blend them together in Photoshop. And that will give me even focusing from foreground all the way into the background. Alright, I found, which will probably be my last exposure for the day. As I was packing up, I was looking at the stream right here. There's a rock in the water right in the foreground, and as the water is passing over it, it's creating a nice pattern, as you can see, going down the stream. Okay, right now it's giving me an exposure of 1/10 of a second at f-stop 11. That should be just enough to give me just enough movement in the water. And I'm using a polarizing filter to cut down some of the glare. All right. All right, the histogram looks good. All right, f-stop 11, 1/10 of a second, ISO 100. Mirror lockup. The first exposure will actually be focused for the rock. All right, that looks good. Here's the first exposure. And that looks good. All right, the second exposure, of course, again, is going to be probably about a third of the way in. Now I'll zoom in at 100% to focus. All right, here's exposure number 2. All right, that looks good. And now for the last exposure, I'll be focusing in the background. All right, everything looks good. All right, let's see, I think I found another composition. Let's see, I went further down the stream, and actually the light is getting even better. The sun is getting lower to the horizon. But I came across this particular area where there's a lot of moss growing on the rocks that are underneath the water. So I think I'm going to try and get a shot of that and see how it turns out. I think it might be pretty good. Right now I've got a shutter speed of about 1/13 of a second at f-stop 11. I've also increased the ISO to 400, so I'd like to slow down some of the movement, freeze some of the movement. My initial exposure was right around 1 second, and that was a bit too much. So, all right. Right now, there's a stick in the water right slightly above the moss, and what I'm doing is I'm focusing for the stick, and at f-stop 11, that should give me good depth of field straight down to the moss underneath. So, I'll go ahead and fire off this exposure. I'm using mirror lockup. All right, that looks good. I guess I'll wrap it up for today. Okay, I hope you picked up something from this, and if you've enjoyed the videos, don't hesitate to comment, like, and please subscribe. All right, until next time.